morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel Elkanen. Welcome to Premarket Info.
Not a good day for the Apple bulls. Apple cutting orders for its iPhone 5 parts, trading down and flirting with the 500 level. Last year's dogs continue to bark. We've been talking about it for feel like the last 2 months. All of these stocks that were not performing well have really started to pick it up. You're seeing stocks like Best Buy, obviously, yesterday, and other stocks that continue to roll higher. Upgrades: Facebook, Hewlett Packard, Deere, Capital One. Downgrades: IBM, Wells Fargo, Verizon, American Express, EMC. These analysts, they've been busy here over the weekend. How's your weekend been, Joel?
Not too bad, not too bad. Kind of surviving in my football pools, but definitely not in the lead. But Dennis, we always talk about triple tops and triple bottoms and double tops and double bottoms. Look at the SPOOs. Do we have a triple top here at the 1470 level?
1470. Well, obviously, yeah, you can see a few tops here. 1471 overnight high, 1471 and a quarter, and we are drifting down. Obviously, the Apple news is the driver that's taking the market down just a bit here from the highs earlier in the session.
How can this market rally? How can we continue to make new
Does,
highs
man.
With the biggest leader in the S&P 500 getting trashed?
Yeah, it does, though. It's just the handing of the torch. Let's start with Apple. Obviously, stock trading down here today, almost 20 points. It's down 19 at 502 this morning. They're cutting orders for their LCD screens and other parts of their iPhone 5 on weak demand, so it's a little bit scary. iPhone 5 just not taking off, but they've been saying that for a little while. It's just now, obviously when you're cutting parts, it's kind of being confirmed.
Yeah, I think we got to start looking at the Barron's articles and the Barron's plays for the anti-play as they came out with a bullish article on that. That stock came out and it got hit. We made a low in the pre-market at 497, and we've got a nice bounce off that. But I think what you have to do, and you have to keep in mind here when you have these big moves in the pre-market, is just go back to the numbers. And 501.23 has been the low of the move. Keep an eye on that. If it can hold that, it certainly has a chance to rally, back up into the 5 teens. 497, there's absolutely nothing there. The next major support level is 486, but I don't think we'll see that today.
Yeah, I think if we do cut through the 500s, you're going to get this swoosh out where we obviously trigger some stops, maybe trade down in the 490 area, and then it could bounce a bit from there. I don't think it's going to turn around and just start tanking down to 470 or 460 here in the next few days, but we have been down here way too long. We have hung out, we have, based down here in the low 500s, and eventually you got to think it's going to take out 500 at least to trigger those stops. We've talked about it possibly doing that for the last month. It hasn't yet. It's surprised us here by holding on for as long as it has, and it continues to try to hold that level this morning. The bulls are defending that level despite it trading through it in the pre-market at 497. It's being defended right now, and it will be real interesting to see if it does take out that 500 in the regular session. Moving on, there's so much news here today. You've got actually Facebook getting an upgrade at Deutsche Bank. Man, all these analysts are jumping on the Facebook bandwagon here now. It's up another 50 cents. They raised their price target to $40, citing the strength of the mobile news feed ads in their obviously mobile app. This stock just keeps on marching. When is this march going to end?
Well, trying to pick a top on the upside is a difficult thing to do. The only reference point I can give our traders here is 32.67. That is a level that we've hit in the pre-market. Since then, we've had a little bit of a decline. You have to go all the way back until July of this year. You had a high at 32.48 and a high at 32.88. That 32.67 number is smack dab in the middle. So keep an eye. That should be an excellent reference point. We've gone up here for what? 6, 7, 8 days. Obviously, that is an unsustainable technical pattern. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 higher lows. So if you're looking to protect some profits on the long side from this Facebook trade, keep an eye on the highest low, which is right now is 31.10, which is still a stick away, as a possible exit point.
Well, it was a good day for Microsoft on Friday. It flirted with that low there again. We've been citing this. We've had this channel drawn for you guys for the last month. Obviously, it held the bottom end of that channel again. I can't believe it. 26.28. So it bounced off both for the fifth time off of that level. It is up a little bit here this morning. I actually do have a long position in Microsoft here as well. So despite some of the other tech stocks being weak, Microsoft here is showing some life.
Yeah, I mean that stock is just really have come down since September when they weren't happy with the earnings. I mean I don't know if there's any way to verify this, but you got to think the stock might be buying company at that 26.30 level because it has gone down there so many
Yeah.
times. You think it was eventually going to crack. Now on the upside, you have a double top, 26.93 to 26.98. So that whole $27 can be pretty good resistance. After that, you got a little bit of a ride up to 27.34. I was hoping that this thing would stay back down, in the mid 26s, and perhaps, take a shot on, some out of the money calls before the next earnings. But we'll see. I mean, this thing is every time you think it's going up, it goes down and the opposite. But keep an eye on that $27 level, major resistance. And if you can't find a support on this chart, then you haven't been listening to the show.
Yeah, support is well defined. The major resistance, really, Joel, is well defined too. Up at that 27.73 area, we've had 4 or 5 tops. We're obviously still 80 cents away from there today, but I love those 2-day moves, and I really think on Apple's bad news, some money's going to come out of Apple, and it's going to be trying to find a home, and it would not surprise me if it finds it in some of these stocks that have lagged over the last couple of years. But you're starting to see even stocks like Cisco have life here. They actually got a couple of upgrades here this morning and is trading up. Even Intel getting some life here over the last month. So all these stocks that really haven't been performing well over the last year have been doing very well in 2013. I think Microsoft has some catch up to do, and it would not surprise me if Microsoft has another good day today. Just speaking back of Cisco, the 2 upgrades are getting upgraded at William Blair and R.W. Baird, so that's moving higher as well. But it's not all good news in the tech sector. IBM getting downgraded today here at J.P. Morgan. They're citing limited upside potential. Stock trading down $2.50 here this morning.
Big move for IBM. Very spotty trades here. You had the low at 191.80 in the pre-market. You got a real interesting formation here on the downside. You throw out yesterday's low 192.90. We've already obliterated that. But you had a triple bottom from 191.28 to 191.65. We've yet to reach that in the pre-market. So as long as that triple bottom holds, you got to look for that thing that has a chance to rally. If it does take out that 191.28 level, there's really no major support in this stock until the 189 level.
And JP Morgan also downgrading EMC today, and that stock's trading down almost 30 cents at 23.87, closed at 24.15. They're citing slower storage market, and stock is flirting with these lows that we had there just a few sessions ago in the 23.58 area.
Yeah, hasn't quite got that low yet, Dennis. 23.86 has been the low in the pre-market. You had a beautiful formation there, 23.59 and 23.73 as the last 2 lows. That should act as support. If in fact it slips below that, you have more support here down at the $23 level.
Sticking with JP Morgan, they've been busy this weekend. They are upgrading Deere, raising their price target to $90 from $80, which is weird because it's trading at $890.34 already. So
they're telling you to get out?
I don't know. They're upgrading it this morning. They're raising their price target from 90, but it's at 90 already. So I'm not sure exactly if it was a poor headline or what their deal was with that. But they are upgrading the stock, so it's trading up here 70 cents this morning.
Yeah, this has had a nice rally here. Made a high of 90.64 on Friday. So let's use that as, excuse me, was it 90.64? Yeah, 90.64 on Friday. Closed near the low of the day at 89.52. So you can use that as if you're trying to protect some profits on the long side and you don't put any credence in the JP Morgan upgrade. Above this 90.64 level, there's really not a lot in there. Just be careful playing this on the long side. See where we open, and if it can't hold the open, you may want to let go of the stock.
Verizon getting downgraded at UBS here this morning, and it's trading down 40 cents on that news. Here's another one of those plays. We talked about it before. It went ex-dividend last week, has been straight down since it went ex-dividend. Obviously lost $1 the day it went ex-dividend. It's now down 42.76 was the low on the ninth. It's at 42.90. If it takes that out, man, there's a lot of air below.
Yeah, you're right. If it takes out that 42.76 level, you do have a minor support point at 42.49, but then you get back into this whole vacuum area when you had a big day back in November. Coming back on the upside, if you're trying to sell the stock, yesterday's low was 43.04. That should be a minor resistance point, and people looking to get out at the mark. 43.30 was the close.
Wells Fargo also getting a downgrade at Oppenheimer here this morning. It's trading down 20 cents on that downgrade. There's a nice trend here, though, and it is starting to approach the bottom end of that trend line, but the bottom of the trend line is down the 34.35 area, so it's got quite a ways to go before it violates that lower end of the trend. So even if it pulls back today, I think the uptrend's still intact here.
I got a downgrade by Oppenheimer.
That's why I said it's downgraded today.
You said Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer. Get me on my Canadian pronunciations of these things.
Major support, which we bounced off on Friday, 34.53 was Friday's low. You go back a few more days, you had three lows between 34.43 and 34.47. That's major support. Yeah, if it takes that out, it should easily fill the gap that you had from the beginning of the year. You have a gap here from 34.74 down to 34 and a quarter. But if in fact we take out that 34.40 level, we could easily trade the figure.
I think it's going to hold that upward trend here, though. I'm a buyer on these pullbacks. So you get upgrades and downgrades, and sometimes you have to go with them, and sometimes you have to fade them. And this is one. The financials have been strong. Money has been flowing into that sector. I think if this thing gets anywhere down that 34.50 area again, even looking at Friday's low at 34.53 after the earnings report, it was a buying opportunity. And then it closed fairly strong at 35.10. You're getting a downgrade here where it's pulling you back. Keep an eye on that 34.53 low from Friday. I think if it gets down to that area, it's a decent buying opportunity.
I think I have to take another side of the coin on this one. I mean, after Wells Fargo had their last earnings release, they did have a rough time, and then they actually had a real rough time and ended up selling off along with the market. Now you have a similar thing. The earnings came out. They weren't that good. Your initial move is down. I looked for major resistance at start to build at the $35 level up to the close and to fill that gap over the next few days.
Sounds like a bet coming on here, Joel. That's what it sounds like to me. 34.89 right now. I'll take 35.89. I'll give you 33.89.
I'll go like a 12-pack of the bet.
Oh, you're going.
Yeah.
Oh, you're getting heavy with that beer.
Yeah. So then, if you win, you can probably be even on our bets.
All right, sounds like a bet to me. I'm bullish. You're bearish. That's why we have a market. We got a couple of Goldman Sachs. Looks like they're putting on a pair trade here today. They are downgrading American Express and they are upgrading Capital One Financial. Capital One Financial bid up here this morning. No trades as of yet. Let's start with American Express because it has had a few trades here this morning. It's trading down at 60.65 right now after closing at 61.24, and obviously they had earnings there, surprising us with earnings on Friday. Actually, it's Thursday night.
Yeah, spotty trades here in the pre-market, 60.48 low, getting a small bounce off that. You have to look at Friday's low, 60.31, and that's supported by two other lows at 60.09 and 60.15. So for me, I don't know how much stock to put in the upgrade or downgrade, but if I was a long-term holder of this stock and it broke below $60, I think I would head for the exits. How many brokers do you think tell their clients, well, you've owned this American Express for a long time, you just made a new all-time high, and it's time to get out and put your money somewhere else?
I don't know. I don't think a lot do that. I would think I don't think a lot of your brokers tell them to sell at all. The big thing from the brokerage standpoint is always, oh, ride this out, and we know how
No,
that
no,
works.
but if they sell something, then they can buy something
Yeah,
else.
sometimes they move them around, but I'm a fan. Like I take the. I think if as long as it continues to hold here, we got a nice uptrend still going on the stock. I think if it stays above 60, I think you cited a good number. If it
Okay.
stays above 60, I remain bullish. Starts cutting through that 60, I probably get a little bit nervous. Let's talk about Capital One there because Goldman Sachs upgrading them this morning.
Yeah, I mean, this stock is usually all over the map. You got major resistance forming at the 62, 67 level and 87 and 70.
62.92.
Yeah, the last three highs here. Probably that's probably supported by a boatload of stock at 63. I would just keep a whole eye on that level. It's been up there several times. If in fact it broke above 63, you could play it for a breakout, but that's pretty well defined resistance.
Going back to Apple, here it is still holding 504.90 now. So that 500 level continues to provide support 505.19. Is it going to take it out here in the regular session, Joel? Are we going to see 499 in the regular session?
I think you may see under 500, but I don't think you're going to see that pre-market low of 497. They usually get a little bud done there. So if you're brave, you want to take a shot on the long side. Instead of stopping yourself out at 500, maybe try and buying it at 500 and giving yourself down to the pre-market low.
Well, that's our show for today. Keep an eye on Apple, folks. It's going to be an exciting trading day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.